Hello, welcome to the show. Today we're here at the Denton Black Film Festival, and I am sitting here with a filmmaker, Amani. Amani, what brought you here to the Denton Black Film Festival today?
Yes, so my name is Imani Black. I'm a photographer and videographer, and I've produced a documentary series before called Day with Dallas. Produced it in 2019, filmed between 2018 and 2019, released it in 2019, and it was a great success, and it really has helped catapult me into where I am today and given me the connections and experience and knowledge of the DFW area through that project.
Okay, so Day with Dallas, what brought this film to fruition?
Yes, so in 2017, I graduated from college at UNT.
Okay.
And I was new to Dallas at that point. Like, I'm not from here. I was raised in North Carolina. So I came out to the DFW area to go to school at UNT. And then once I got to Dallas, I realized, like, I thought North Texas, I thought everything was the same, but Denton and Dallas are way different.
Yeah, you learned that quickly, right?
I did. I learned that quickly. So once I touched down in Dallas, I got my first big girl job after graduating. I majored in advertising, and so I worked at an ad agency after graduating. And I didn't realize at that time, but I thought I wanted to do client management instead of like creative work. But I realized I wasn't being fulfilled. I was actually the receptionist at the ad agency. So I wasn't doing anything. I was just doing admin work.
Yeah, you were all these creative things going on around you, but you weren't involved in them.
Yeah. I mean, more so I was involved with the creative aspects of like event planning when we would have those type of things, which actually has come in handy later in my career over time. But I just feel like I wasn't being utilized to my fullest capabilities. So for me, it was like, they're not going to promote me. It doesn't seem like they're going to promote me. I'm going to grow at this agency. So why don't I just like make my own projects instead of just coming home and doing nothing every day after work? So that's when I just had the idea, put it in my head. The first thought or the first rendition of the idea was to just showcase my adventures in Dallas as a young graduate who just got to the city. And then I just decided I didn't really want to share my life like that. So
to change it up again?
So it took a couple months, but then the later rendition of it became where I interviewed the creatives. So like I was online, I didn't know these people, but I saw them, was following them on Instagram and Twitter and things like that. And so I was like, it would be really interesting to follow them for a day to see what they do. And so I came up with a list of like people that I'm interested in like getting to know better. I had a full like 20 people list or something. I thought it was going to be like a Netflix series, but ended up just narrowing it down to about three individuals and then a band. And so we just filmed over the span of a year and a half. And with that, for each subject, it was about like what they do in a day. So it was like, we're spending a day with Dallas, and how I framed it when I was pitching it to them is it's like MTV Cribs, but for your life. And it's a documentary. And so, that became my baby, my project, and produced 4 episodes. And then had a launch party had a launch party at a place called Trinity Cider in Deep Ellum. And from there, it's just everything has gone up with my career.
So talk about that. What does that feel like to go from, being the admin to seeing all these things and saying, you know what, I want to do that, to actually doing it?
It feels amazing. And I actually won an award for on my efforts in 2022. So it was literally only 5 years later. It was an advertising award. So it feels really good.
That full circle there, right?
It really has been full circle. And it was in front of like my peers who worked at the agency too, because I left at the company at that point. But it's been really amazing. And then now even more so, I've I'm into curating as well. So just knowing that what I involve myself in is very effective, and it shows that I'm driven and I get stuff done. Because to be awarded in the advertising industry is very tough.
Very tough.
But to be awarded an advertising award outside of an agency and outside of it being related to my full-time job that I was working at that time, it just showed that I'm capable of doing this and producing great quality work on my own and being recognized for it.
Yeah. You know, I will say this to the audience. You know, we have again here at the Den Black Film Festival. I keep wanting to say Dallas, but just Amani. I've attended a couple of the workshops, and sitting in the workshops, Amani has been very informative, and she's contributing and asking questions, things of that nature. And I said, you know, I want to sit down and talk with her. And once I heard you say that you were a filmmaker, and to be young and to be able to do these, and you did it on your own. You didn't wait for someone else to come alongside you. You said, hey, you know what? This is what I want to do. I'm going to find a way to make this happen. Talk about what you learned about yourself in that process.
Oh man, I learned that I can be unorganized. That was the first thing I learned. It's funny because I bring it back to my first job out of college at the ad agency because I learned a lot about myself. You know, in school, I just did what I could to get by. I was like, hey, C's get degrees. But I did major in advertising, so it was something I really did like. And it's funny, I did get A's and B's and maybe one C. I originally started as a marketing major, but when I started at the ad agency, I had my first review around March that year. So I graduated in May 2017, and then March 2018, I had my first employee review, and I was expecting flying colors. I thought I was going to be great because I was like, I'm good at my job. I like my job. I get stuff done, and this and that. I thought it was great. Yeah. But then I got
the reality set.
I got the review, and they were like, you know, you're a bit unorganized. You don't follow up. You forget things. And I was just like, okay.
You were creative. You weren't being fulfilled in the position, okay? So,
So that is true, but I feel like as a creative, if you want to be a true business person, which I am both, I'm equally as business as I am creative. Maybe I'm more creative, but still business-minded. You have to be both if you want to be successful and have people rely and trust you, because I don't like working with creatives who don't text me back or don't it's the professionalism. Yeah. I feel like that's what has greatly improved over time. So like once I got that review in March, it was about May 2018, I started filming for Day with Dallas. It was my first time, or my first subject. Actually, I don't know. But we started filming and preparing and everything in May, and I was doing like those pre-production meetings, like saying, hey, here's my idea. Are you interested at that point? Okay. And so it was like, okay, you need to have a meeting with these people. You need to come with an agenda. And you need to email them, send them recaps afterwards. It's just a professionalism that I learned at my first job that I did not know coming out of college.
Yeah, so it helped you to become more organized.
Exactly.
So having this review right before you set out probably really helped you.
Oh, I know it did.
Person. Okay.
I even bought, like, they told me you need to use your calendar, you need to write stuff down. And so that was just their advice, rather.
But all of that was preparation for what you were going into.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have dismissed it or not taken it as serious, but you embraced it and said, you know what, I see these faults within myself, let me correct these things.
Exactly. And for years I've used an agenda. I bought like a physical calendar agenda, I don't know what it's called. Yeah, a planner.
Yeah, daily planner.
A planner. And it's so funny. I remember in from elementary to middle to high school, they asked us to have planners. Yeah. And I think I did use it, but I don't really remember
not
using
faithfully.
them. Yeah, no.
Occasionally.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the party's going to be, yes, but not where the business meeting's going to be.
I actually did a party in high school. My parents didn't play that. But
they're going to see this, so you have to say that. I understand.
Oh no, they're military. They know me. They love me. But we used to use it growing up, but I never thought it would be applicable in college. I didn't use it during college. And so I just made things happen for real. But then once I got that feedback, it was like, oh no, I need a planner. And then outside of work, it's like, no, I need to remember when's my doctor's appointments? When's this? Because in college, I just used my iPhone, but then I realized that's not enough for me. I need a planner, write it down.
In several places.
Yeah, and I need sticky notes sometimes, and I need my phone.
Yeah, we all do. I mean, because you have that reminder. You put it away digitally, and you're like, oh, okay, it'll remind me. And if it doesn't, then you're in trouble.
Oh, yes.
But if you have it in several places, then you're always going to be on alert.
Exactly.
So talk about what's your biggest takeaway. You've attended a number of workshops here this morning. What's the biggest takeaway from what you've been experienced to so far? My
biggest takeaway has been learning about Aspire TV. Okay. I really didn't know that existed until today.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, they're not. I mean, if you don't just flip channels, you won't come across them very often.
oh, it's a magnet. I'm like, why does this keep going over here?
Oh, the mic is pretty.
I was
Oh,
like,
there's a magnet on
wait,
the back of there.
yeah.
I was like, is it choking you? What's going on over there?
Okay.
It's live TV, okay?
The biggest takeaway, Aspire TV, I really didn't know that existed.
Okay.
And then being that I produced like this documentary series, like my thing back then, it was like, I want this to go on Netflix one day.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking like Amazon, because I found out you can distribute your video on demand through Amazon. I never did, but I also thought about entering that docuseries into South by Southwest and all these different platforms. So I've kind of taken a step back from videography because I did do that all on my own. Like I had a business partner at first, but then him and his partner became pregnant, so he had to step away.
Okay.
So I ended up just having to see it through to the end on my own. And it was very tough. It was very, it was a lot. It was a lot to do on my own, a big undertaking. And from there, you know, I wanted to do all these things like enter into film festivals and put it on TV or put it on shows and stuff, but I lost the spark for it for a while.
Okay.
But now I've found myself this year wanting to do more video.
Good.
So I'm thinking about all these ways like, okay, if I do this episodic content, or if I do another docuseries, here's an outlet that seems like a less. I've been telling myself since I made that documentary, I was like, the barriers to entry don't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So to know that there's a platform where, you know, it may not be Amazon or Netflix, but it's still something, and it targets Black people.
Yeah.
That's important and means a lot to me. So it's something that I can target when I'm ready to produce that project.
Good stuff, good stuff. And I think just the fact of putting yourself in this environment, coming here today, being exposed to the information in the workshops that are taking place, I mean, it sets you up for the success. You didn't just come into the year saying, oh, this is something I want to do. You're putting yourself in the environment to make sure that it happens.
Yes,
and
yes.
that's what we have to do.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So in closing, what's that word of advice, since you've actually put together a docuseries, what's that word of advice you would give to someone who aspires to do that very thing? And if you look into the camera and tell them.
My word of advice would be to do what you say you're going to do. If you say you want to produce a documentary series, it's funny, there's a quote I saw earlier in my years, and I think it was by Henry Ford. It said that you can't build a reputation on what you say you're going to do. And it stuck with me because I was in limbo about what I was going to do as far as like starting a docuseries, and then like maybe I wasn't, like I was still, it was in the early stages, but then I did it. And then here we are years later. I've produced a docuseries, I've curated art galleries, I've shot with Samsung, like I've done so many things. So it just started from the small seed to now being a bigger piece of my whole, well, not my whole life, but a bigger piece of my life at this time. So do what you say you're going to do. You can't build a reputation on what you say you're going to do. Other than that, you're going to be known as someone who says that they're going to do something and they don't.
Wow.
And so do what you say you're going to do.
I love it. Amani, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
Yes, great speaking with you too, Chris.
All right, hope you enjoyed it. I have some great takeaways there for you. Again, we're here at the Den Black Film Festival and wanted to just take a moment to share with you one of the filmmakers who's here and furthering her education and information so she can continue to produce great content.